Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we are in the northwestern jungle, in the transitional area between the desert and the jungle itself, directly inside the Messenger's Respite, building a House of Pleasures. This build will of course use the Debaucheries of Derketo DLC, along with using the Blood and Sand DLC heavily in construction, though you can replace the Blood and Sand with pretty much any other building material, and this build will still turn out fairly nice. This build is designed as something of a mixture of the three simple pleasures in life: good food, alcohol, and women. This build will incorporate all three elements into one tower, utilising all the new things from the Derketo DLC to suit the vibe and purpose of this build. I wouldn't go as far to say that this build is designed as a brothel as such, though the option is there to transform it into one. I'd say it's more designed as a gentleman's club, though most foot traffic will come through the bar area itself, as this is where the main entrances to the build will be. So, without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, we are going to start off with the base plate. I'll start by building a circular base plate of a 5-tier size, and I'm also going to place some foundation blocks on either side of the base plate to show where the entranceways to the build will be. Next, for the walls. I started off placing arena walls around the circle, then placing windows around the second ring on every other block. This ground floor will be 3 tiles high, and this will be the showroom where dancers will take to the stage for the patrons. When the walls were done, I then built 2 foundations on either side of the circle, opposite sides of course of the entranceway blocks, as this will be where I add elevators to access the first floor. I built up some walls to encase said elevators, then creating the entranceway stairs using hanging bridges and foundations. I will later put arena stairs onto these blocks, but for now I'll just leave them here as markers for where the doors will be in the first floor. Next, I covered the top of the ground floor with ceilings, using sloped single ceiling pieces on the square blocks, enclosing the ground floor and placing 2 pillars inside to support the ceiling. I also blocked off one of the elevator access points because I don't really need 2 sets of elevators running to the same floor, otherwise you won't be able to get to the second floor. So you'll see more why I made that choice later in the design. I then placed the elevators and gave them a test run, realising they were just a tad too high above the ground for me to be able to fit through the doorway. Maybe a shorter character could, but you know, we're designed for the average here, not the anomalous. Therefore I removed the doorways and instead opted to have an open section to walk through, with one wall hanging from the ceiling above to give it at least some partial covering. I also had to place both elevators facing different ways, so at least one elevator could always be called either up or down from each floor. I then built up the elevator section a little bit more and started on the walls for the first floor. I placed windows at regular intervals on the first tile, then using arena walls all the way up to the 3 tile height. I then covered the top of this floor again with ceilings, using the pillars again to support the ceiling, and using the same sloped ceiling pieces above the square sections. Next, for the top floor, the restaurant. I decided to have balconies above the build, coming out at every square block section. Therefore, I used sloped ceiling pieces to create a nice smooth transition to these balconies. I built up the elevator section again and then built up the walls, opting to have the balconies a 2x2 area, with the doorways coming further into the build, ultimately cutting down on the amount of room on this floor, but leaving me with nice triangular alcoves at regular intervals. I then again placed ceilings atop the build and used pillars to support it, then choosing to instead drop the sloped ceiling pieces I'd placed over the balcony doorways by one tile, placing walls above them and then capping them off with the ceilings. This fits with the architectural style much better. Next, for the roof. A nice and simple circular roof with nothing fancy. I built walls up in varying heights to support the roof, and then built up the roof in alternating piece fashion, then placing inverted wedges at the bottom of the roof as accents. Finally, the finishing touches. I fenced off the balconies and placed stairs on the entranceways, using fences there to create some more visual detail. I used stairs around the base of the build to help transition it into the ground below and also give it some visual support, along with doing the same under the bridges. I placed doors around the build, and then for the top of the elevator sections, I removed the empty tiles above and replaced it with stairs surrounded by fences to better transition it into the roof and just make it more visually interesting. Finally, when the shell of the build was done, it was then time to of course furnish. Approaching the build, it stands tall above the environment and the architecture is very impressive. Standing torches light the entranceways and provide them with a warm, welcoming light. Heading into the build, we reach the bar first. This lavish bar features room for over 50 patrons, with high skilled bar staff ready to serve an assortment of beer, ales and spirits. No fancy craft beers here though. Heading down to the showroom, this is where the dancers entertain the men who come to see them. This is a smaller, more intimate style room with an elevated stage to ensure that the dancer is not only the focus of the room, but is also held at relative safety. Each side room is a private chamber for discerning customers, with enough room and a luxurious bed for plenty of, let's say, activities. Heading through the back door of this room, we reach the dancers' quarters. This is where dancers prepare for their shows, changing into costume, sipping wine and getting ready to earn that sweet, sweet money. Heading back through the bar and up again, we reach the restaurant. This is a smaller cafeteria style room with one small kitchen pumping out hearty, no frills meals to the patrons. The small alcoves in the design allow for extra seating, with the empty elevator chamber being repurposed for the kitchen itself. Each balcony has a wonderful view across the landscape, with an intimate and regal seating arrangement that should make anyone feel at home. And there we have it, a house of pleasures in the Messenger's Respite. Thanks for watching. I know a few people have asked specifically for a brothel build recently, and whilst this is indeed coming in the future, I thought this amalgamation of different services within one build would be fairly interesting. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like and let me know in the comments below if you have any future build suggestions. As usual, absolutely anything is welcome. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch and join the fun at our Discord, both links are in the description. And if you'd like to support the future of this channel yourself, the link to my Patreon is also in the description below, with various tiers and rewards including special Discord roles, sneak peeks at new videos, your name at the end of videos and more. On that note, a thanks to our patrons Sammy, Doomshade and Dawnfox. If you are new here, feel free to check out the rest of the content on the channel. There are new Conan Exiles videos coming every Wednesday and Sunday, so if you like what you see, subscribe and ring the notification bell to be the first to see the next video and to join us on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.